Sorry people for the technical issues we are going through. This tends to happen sometimes. First time, however, that this has ever happened. Okay, now it's live. Now I can see it.
Okay, thank you.
So it seems to be alive.
Yes, it's alive.
Okay.
Yes.
So it seems to be solved. Luckily, we detected the issue just as we began. So let's get back to the very beginning where we were. So, as I was saying, this is something that may interest all of you, but also people that you know. And it is this Google Summer of Code. The different institutions have been announced, and I believe the applications for individual participation are going to be open in a week, are going to open very soon. So if you would like to participate in Google Summer of Code within the Ada community, but also outside in your own personal interest or groups, you can do so. And I created a small list of ideas that you could do if you want to participate or help the Ada community within the Google Summer of Code. And that would be to, for example, participate in NetBSD, FreeBSD, or GCC by submitting patches to GCC or upstreaming the patches that give support to those systems. They exist, those patches exist, these operating systems exist, but they are not part of upstream GCC. So it makes it a little bit more challenging to use it in those systems. RTMS, for those of you who don't know, it's a real-time operating system that's basically POSIX compliant. They have a POSIX scheme, also they have their own interfaces, and it is very heavily used in aerospace, especially by NASA. And it has official Ada support, but the problem is that the Ada infrastructure has not been kept up to date, and it's a little bit difficult to use with the new build system that they introduced, etc. So if you would like to improve things directly within GCC, you can help finish off Ada 2022 support. For example, last year the parallel feature was funded by Google Summer of Code, and there are several threads in the forums where you can see the different updates and challenges that have taken place. Last month we had the person responsible on tell us how his experience doing all of this was, what was the current state of the project, in case you're interested. Or within the Linux Foundation, typo there, they have tons of different projects, and some of them could potentially accept some Ada projects, so you may want to look into them. So this is one of the announcements. The other announcement is the third Ada Developers Workshop, which will be taking place the 12th of June in Västerås in Sweden. Well, the call for submissions and basically the release of information has been done a couple of days ago. You can go into the link, into the conference, the Ada Europe conference link, and see the workshop details, the deadlines, the timelines, what are we expecting, what are we accepting, etc. So please, if you would like to give a presentation, talk, we recommend that you submit it to the workshop. It's also, you don't have to present anything. You can obviously come as participants. And as always, we are looking for sponsors to reduce the cost of the workshop to the maximum. So the cost should be greatly reduced. We do so because we want maximum participation, especially from students, as these events tend to take place in universities. We also want to bring as many people as possible to the workshop. And in case you cannot come because, well, it's too expensive to get to there, or, well, for different reasons, we will be live streaming the event, and you can ask questions, you can listen to the talks live. And in case you cannot be at the event, either in person or online, don't worry, just as years past, the recordings will be made available some months after the event, as it usually takes a bit of time. Also, regarding the meetups, I said that it will most likely not take place in April and May. But as Dirk said, hey, maybe you could move it for April and May and not have it the first week of the month. So maybe I'll do that. So keep an eye. Maybe we'll have another meetup the second week of April or something like that. For May, I have quite a few more difficulties. So that may not be possible, but we'll see. And then the big announcement, and I really want people to pay attention to it, is the announcement of the ADA User Awards. So we've been working on this for a long time, and basically the ADA User Society has created a small pool of money. I can be honest and transparent with you. For right now, it's only 1,000 euros. It's not much, but it is something. It's the beginning. And we hope to use that money to help the aid ecosystem. So if you have ideas, if you see issues with the aid ecosystem, with the tooling, the libraries, the compilers, the language support, the ergonomics, etc., we want you, the community, to propose ideas that you would like to see some funding go to those ideas. You can propose ideas that you're willing to do yourselves. So you propose the idea, and if we accept that idea, you yourself could get the funding. Or you could just propose an idea and hope that someone else likes the idea and does that, and they get the funding. So this is quite flexible. It's quite open. We are looking into quite heavy community involvement. We also, the committee, which is composed by Tucker Taff, Dirk Kraines, Jeffrey, and myself, we will also may potentially propose ideas that we feel that need a little bit of a push, and we will be the ones deciding what ideas get some funding and by how much. This is because the amount of money that we have at our disposal is quite limited, so it needs to be managed in one way or another. So you can read the announcement. There you have a little bit more info. There you have the links on how to do the processes, but the main link is basically the requirements and indications on how to do a proposal. It's a little bit of a long text, but honestly, just use common sense. And if you do, you are basically already fulfilling everything that we list here. And we just wanted to give a little bit more information in case there are any doubts or some things are not clear or there are questions. Well, hopefully this will explain or give you the answers that you're looking for. And we already have two proposals, two ideas. One was done by Ada Orbit, who couldn't be here today. He wanted to showcase his work today, but due to exams, he's not available. Maybe next meetup he will be. And he proposed, hey, let's get ADA support in the Casio FX CG50 calculator, which is a fairly interesting device. It's using the SH3 or SH4, I don't remember which version of the architecture. Well, it's using that architecture. It's fully reverse engineered, and he managed to get already some ADA code running on the device thanks to GCC support for this architecture and the reverse engineering that has taken place. I myself proposed another topic, and that's bringing official ADA support or semi-official ADA support to the Sapphire RTOS. I think this is a very interesting project, and I would like to see some more support on it. For example, I am proposing this not because I'm going to do it myself. I'm not willing to work on this project, and luckily Germán Riviera, he already presented last year in Paris his work on bringing ADA support to Sapphire. So maybe a lot of that work could be reused and implemented officially into Sapphire. So yeah, I'm not willing to work on that. If the as I say in the bottom in the disclaimer, if the rest of the committee accepts this as an idea, well, Herman or someone else could take it upon themselves to do this task and get some money for it. Obviously, the sums of money, again, are not that relevant and that big, but hey, at least it could pay you for a flight or two, or some few nice dinners, etc., or for a small kick for the holidays. So yeah, these are the big announcements. I can tell you already that we are looking into finding more revenue sources for some more funding sources for the ADA awards. So keep an eye on that. We are talking to some companies already. Let's see where that gets us. And we would like to basically invigorate and increase the comments and the quality of the comments and the amounts of comments into the ADA ecosystem, and hopefully help everybody. So, having said that, those were the announcements. And now I think we can move on to the two topics that we have today at hand. One of them is from Max. So, if Max, if you wouldn't mind to go first, could you present us your topic for today?
Okay, let me share the screen. Today I would like to present my work on MAVLink library for ADA update, and I'm Max from Ukraine, and I love ADA. If you don't know what is MAVLink, this is a lightweight protocol for drones. It's used to communicate ground station with drones, or it may be even used inside the drone to communicate flight controller to other modules like GPS or motors and so on. It's language agnostic, and the messages in this protocol encoded like in XML files, and then there is a generator that do this translation from these files to particular languages. There is a lot of languages that support MAVLink project, and ADA is one of them. The first version of this binding was created by Andrei Fil in November 2022. And I would like to say that ADA is a very good fit this area, because ADA is good for embedded system. ADA is good for safe and secure devices, and ideal for real-time applications that drone usually looks like. And why we do this? At least we have three goals why do this update. At first, we need MAVLink version 2 support, because currently this is recommended version for new application. First version is still in use very widely, but if you develop new application, probably you need to choose version 2. Second issue is that better security and reliability for this library, because we found some issues while working with previous version. And also would be nice to have a smaller library, because before it's not so small, and drones usually have very little capabilities, very little memory and flash. So we try to solve this issue. And what's new is MAVLink second version is that they change, obviously they change the format of the MAVLink frame, and this includes wider message ID. Now it's 3 byte, 24 bits, and before it's only 1 byte. That restricted number of messages in protocol to 256 messages, and as consequence, many different dialects of MAVLink appears when we have version 2. And so they decided to enlarge this field and provide 16 million different kind of messages limit. I mean, kind of messages like attitude, command, or heartbeat, and so on. And this increasing of this field make impossible to use the same approach for generation other code as we did in first version, because in first version we use this message ID as index in array to find information about message and to calculate CRC and so on. Another improvements in second version is that they provide now cryptographic signature in each message. It's optional, but if it's on, it let you ensure that there is no compromise and no replay attack in between of the chain of I mean, in protocol, in communication protocol. So we redo this way how we generate this binding a bit and redo other interesting stuff, like one of them is how we handle enumeration in this library. I think it could be interesting for people not using the MAVLink because this idea of having extendable enumeration is always attract people, and people ask sometimes, how can I extend enumeration? How can I add more enumeration literal in enumeration type? And currently in ADA it's not possible. But for protocols like MAVLink or protobuf, it's actually required because these protocols expect to be extendable protocols. For instance, even MAVLink has defined literals for some enumeration. They allow customer to introduce new values while this value fit in the bounds of the base type of this enumeration. Like, for example, drone messages have type of device, and if customer release new type of device, he can introduce a new enumeration value for this enumeration type. And also there is a state of a device, and different devices have different states, and so usually it can introduce new value for new state of your device. So it's really needed feature for. But in ADA, if you get unexpected value for enumeration type and try to work it with usual access methods, you will get constraint error. Let me be more concrete. Let's examine let's, for example, look at this particular kind of enumeration type, and it has only two values, safe and dangerous. This type represents switch state of safety on drone, and if the switch is off, the device is safe to operate, and when you switch state as dangerous, the device could be active, and you should not change it, or because motors can rotate at this moment and it's dangerous. So protocol provides us two concrete enumeration and corresponding values for them. And first version of the library not expect that you will receive another value and react. If you get this case, you will get a constraint error. It's obviously not what you want in the flying drone to get exception, because usually embedded runtime does not support exception handling. If you use ADA before ADA 2022, you usually translate this kind of enumeration to integer type and corresponding constants. It's a working solution, and it's have its props, because now you don't have exception, constraint error when new values, and it's work in most version of ADA. But on the other side, it's not very handy, because constants in ADA, it's not you cannot overload in names for constants, and that's why you usually pretend each constant with corresponding type name. As a result, you will get on very long names and repetitive names, like you see in this case. And the same issue in other language like C, when you have safety switch state safe constant for this value. But ADA 2022 let us a good way to handle this by using static function. If you may know, static function in new ADA standard is expression function with aspect static, and this way, of course, it's overloadable. And that's where you don't need a long prefix, but compiler will able to resolve function and using the context where this call, where this mention is appear. So you can have several enumeration types with the same literal, and each literal will have its own value. A compiler will resolve it for you, and it looks very natural for ADA. So we do this that way. But enumeration has other nice properties, like exhaustive list of values, and we would like to have it for our types. So it's easy to do, because ADA provides a static predicate. All we need is just define a new subtype and specify a static predicate and point compiler that we want exactly this enumeration in this static subtype. In our library, we mark all this subtype with common suffix and well-known. And this way, we restrict values of subtype to known values defined in the MAVLink protocol. And because it's static predicate, compiler will check it at compiler time. And for example, you can use this in case statement, case expression, and other context when you expect static value, static subtype. Look at this image function that convert our enumeration literal to the string, and this function itself static. So you can use it to, for instance, to create a link symbol or something else that you require static string expression. And at runtime, when you receive a message, you don't know if the value is known or not, and it's very easy to check. You just use membership test operation, and depending on the result, you will handle differently known and unknown values. Like here, you can log image of this value or just decimal representation in your log file, and it's very easy to read, understandable code. If you need extended type, for instance, if you decide to introduce new state of your switch, in this case, we name it broken for some reason, and you just define a new expression function with static aspect and declare your own subtype that includes this literal in list of available values, and then you use your own extended subtype the same way as you do for known subtype. And I think this is way to extend enumeration literal could be interesting for not only for MAVLink but for other protocol and for other generators that generated the code from some specification, like protobuf, for example. It explicitly requires that enumeration could be extended, and I think it's very interesting approach. Speaking about other improvements in our library, I would mention that previous version of library used target records to represent message. It has a common base class, and every other message inherits from this base class. It works, but it's make a linker to include a lot of supporting runtime code, and our hit for this code is very big in case of tiny resources of drone. For example, here we have numbers for simple applications that accept only one kind of message, heartbeat message, and its total size is 76 kilobyte, and most 60 kilobyte of the library. It's too much. We can shrink it a bit by introducing limited word in the source code and make this target type limited. In this case, it's only 43 kilobytes and text segment reduced a lot, but memory still has a lot of bytes. And in our approach, it's dramatically reduced the size to 24 kilobytes, and bytes used by library, it's only 4 kilobytes, and it's very good. From my point of view, you can use it for very teeny microcontrollers. Speaking about other improvements like security updates and safety mode, we introduce raw float wrapper around float fields in the protocol, because sometimes MAVLink use not a number values for float, and in case of ADA, not a number is not allowed for float, and you will get exception if you use it as you can check every float value with a valid attribute to filter not the numbers, but you can easily forget to check this, and introducing private types that wrap the float, let the user make user use conversion, explicit conversion from this private type to float, and avoid these exceptions. And some improvements we did for bitmap types when value consists of bits that Boolean values, and we add extra fields for all reserved bytes, so user now has access to any reserved bits in this word and can use it for its purpose. We also split connection to several types, making distinct type for input and output connection, because sometimes we have different data paths for input and output messages. For instance, input message could be constructed, collected in interrupt routine, while output just written in the buffer. And that's why we need different types for handling this. As a result, we have a bunch of Alir crates, and currently this crate in the index already. We contributed our change upstream to MAVLink repository, and we in Alir we have two common protocols, two common dialects of MAVLink protocol. One is common dialect, another is Ardu Pilot Mega. Each of them has version 2, version 1, and user can choose or combine version he need for his projects. And that's all what I would like to present here. I hope you find this interesting, and if you have any question, let's ask.
Thank you, Max. There are a couple of comments or questions in the chat. Pascal asked, did you consider attribute valid as an alternative with enumeration?
Yes, valid it's not so handy, but when you have explicit names for every literal, it's much better, and especially when you use cases and case expression, and when compiler check for you if this work or not, if you forget some literal or not. This validates its work, but it's not so proof, I mean, not so safe.
Okay, there is another comment or question by Luke. If you create a package safety switch, you get the suffix by default if you don't use the package. Oh, sorry, no. If you use package safety switch, you get the suffix by default if you... Oh, I don't know where the typo was, but yeah.
Oh, it means that if don't use the use clause.
Anyway, when you use expression function, it's easy to use because compiler can overload it. If you use constant and put it constant in the package, and you then have visibility for bus for several such packages, compiler will reject every collection names in it. So it's not good.
Okay, thank you, Max. If there are any questions, please put them in the chat. Maybe Max can answer them in the chat or in his own email, which you can see in the screen. And now I would like to give the floor to Aldo, who is going to present us his work on creating a graphical user interface.
Oh, hello everyone. You can
Hello.
hear?
Yes,
Yeah.
perfectly.
Great. So just I saw about this static. I think it will be very useful for my program also. Very good. Thanks, Max, for that also. Because we have, I will show you in a minute, this new GUI framework, let's say, where we have a holistic system where we can create graphical applications entirely written in Ada with the only dependency being SDL 3 and its own associated like image and TTF. So it's the only dependency we have. We use a few vendor package like for SVG in C and RLOT that is for animations, and one thing more, one JSON library in EDA. The rest is all in-house, let's say, implementation. It has everything you will need to create an application with all its aspects, from the graphical part or configuration, translation, anything, file system opening, like a dialogue. Yeah, or at least this project is made explicitly for the project I'm working on. So I'm adding more features while I need them. So it's maybe something is missing, but it's not a priority since it's not for that. But I will start showing you how this works, more or less. I don't have slides, or I didn't have the time for that. I prefer to use the time to write more code. I mean, or to test more. And okay, so let's see if I can share the screen here. Yeah, the environment. Let's see. This is, where is it? Yes, I think it's this one. Okay, maybe you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yes, so the system basically is based on CSS. So everything we see on the screen is defined by the CSS. So the system is agnostic to any style, or I mean, if we don't put a CSS, we don't have any anything on the screen. It's not possible. The system doesn't have any default for even a font or anything. So basically, we start. I can start to show you. By example, I made a material demo because it's a classic thing. So this application is defined through CSS for all describing every detail, and we have also an XML file for the structure. So where we define which widgets are there and their properties. So they are, so the CSS and the XML are not interpreted at runtime, but they are compiled to other structures directly by a Python compiler, let's say, a Python script. So I can show you what it looks like, because my idea in the beginning was to just write this CSS code, let's say. So I don't need a CSS file, I just write CSS. And I show you, by example, how it looks like, the compiled CSS, because it's really very intuitive, I say. So by example, the root element has it's just a record, and I give the various properties for the CSS. And I have, then it's also a kind of cascading. Then I can merge. There is function to merge the styles. We have, there is many things there, but we separate even a widget part. So we have sub parts of widget, and we can style them also. And we have also states, and we can also express in this kind of structure all of that. And then merge all together and assign it to the widget, and then the widget will pick up the different parts and styles and according to the state and everything. So, but it's interesting that we can really express very clearly also in code the same thing as we do in the CSS. This is material demos and demo styles. We can material demo. So the thing we see here, we see already we saw before compiled. Where is it? Oh, disappeared. Okay. Anyway, this so we can express all kind of CSS properties. We didn't move even anything from the CSS standards. So whatever we see here is standard CSS. There is no custom properties or anything. So we try to follow that. So in this way, all the knowledge we have of CSS, we can apply directly without error. And also the editors will find them, everything. Okay. So this is the foundation of this system is CSS. Everything was built from there. So this my idea of how it's made now. It came from many years ago of this project you see here, 10 years ago. Okay, it was written in Scheme. That is a Lisp dialect. So it was very easy to express all these ideas in Scheme. At the time, I was using SDL and Cairo for rendering. There is some demos here, but let's see. You can see, okay, so it's very simple, but the idea was very clear and was working very well. The difference with my new system is that this was immediate mode. So every frame was completely calculated from zero, even including the CSS cascading and resolving and everything. And even we have Z order. So it was quite good. Anyway, 20 frames per second for was not so bad. Not ideal, but that was good. So, and then from there, I tried many things in the years just for experimentation. But finally, I came to EDA, and I got lost there. I liked very much how the language is made, and flexibility and safety, and many things, and also the GCC support in that, and for me it's also important. So there is many things there, many concepts. I will try to squeeze because I don't know, we have not much time. But we can see that since we are there, I also I will show you with another. Let's see, with another. Quit. Yes, you have the dialogues also. I still didn't show this material demo. So this is basically the buttons are in a frame, and they are associated directly with the ADA enumeration. There is a generic that makes impossible to mistake the association from these buttons to the commands that they will execute. And then we have another button that creates, we have dialogues that are overlays, and okay, and then we have input controls, like, you know, like you can expect. You can even select, or you have a context menus, and you have combo boxes. The combo boxes are just a list box of custom widgets. You are free to style them as you want. This is completely everything agnostic to how you see it. Then you have, here I show you, even you can change on the fly the CSS styles, and the light mode is a separate CSS. You have even, enable or disable widgets. This switch will lock the GUI. Then you have some other controls. You can see, you can expect like slider. Slider is also completely agnostic. It's just CSS with a, how to say, yeah, it's everything free. You can, even the switch is just simple CSS. There is nothing custom in the code to render this. Yeah, so then this, okay, you can handle for quit or not. Okay, this is one example. I show you the live reload. This is all examples. What was stack example? This is a stack, and it's made. I show you how it is made. The XML of the stack example. We can have a CSS. This finds as standard. It's very familiar. You can even have inline style in the XML. And then you see here, I was speaking about the enumeration to have the values of which the tab buttons can only stick to these values. And then we have the window with all the boxes and the classes, like you expect in HTML, more or less similar. And one of the pages, I made it external component. So I load it from another component that is the red page. No, was the green page, was external. Yeah, by example. It can has its own style and rendering. And I can show you that we also support live reload of the CSS. So I will put this in always on top, and I will open the CSS of that. What was the stack example? Green, by example. I go to the green page, and then here, this is the green. I can change something. By example, the color of the page is green. So this, I can make it red, by example. I put red here. Okay, so it's immediately reloaded. So it is, so we have both the compile time CSS that will be loaded, and then we have a system to attached to the program that is optional, and we can use it in development and then switch it off to reload in real time the CSS. So for development, it's very convenient, extremely convenient. Yes, so this is the stack example, and I show you already the XML and the CSS and how they work together. The generated code, I can show you of this one just to you see how it works. Examples generated. By example, the green page, we will have another package defined. Here we have some code for the reloading. And it will just build the widget tree, declaring the widgets and then applying the style to them, and etc. Okay, and that's then we have a new system that I was curious when in the Telegram group someone was speaking about new features of ADA, about ownership and different techniques or how we can improve the type safety and the lifetime safety. And then I was feeling missing out because before I was using just access types for every widget to create them and pass them around. And then I decided to try to use handles. So we have a widget store. Actually, we have a generic store that then we can use for different things, and there is a widget store, and we can store there the widgets that get just a handle, and then so have a much safer memory management. And yeah, that was not easy to migrate, but it was. I think it's worth. Yeah, so here we don't have any pointers, access, nothing, system address. We have just handles around, so it feels quite safe in that sense. Okay, we can finish this. Then I can show you, by example, other features of the library, like animated image. This is just an example of one GIF file, horse, and we can just a demo of the loop, not loop, but it's just a loop. It's just rendering to SDL surface and textures, and then looping them. So then we have, by example, the combo box we saw already in one sample. We can see the list box example. List box example. Okay, this is massive list. Okay, so this example shows many things of the library because we have the list box. The widget. These are just widgets. These are labels. We can put anything inside, even images or whatever. We have the scroll with the wheel, or we can drag. This is all. Even the scroll bars are CSS, so we don't need. We can style it as we like. Then we have the inertia, so we can scroll and we will feel like modern kind of scrolling. This is some simple debugging to see where is the layout. And here this debug stats is this bar in the below to check how long it takes to render the widgets. In this case, 7 milliseconds for the whole thing. Layout was not computed at this time, was not needed, but sometimes we can see here 14 milliseconds to render this, and this is should be debug build, so should be even better. With all the features we have, even since it's agnostic also of visualization, we can have a grid layout just by setting the CSS of the list box as grid, and we can use all the features of grid. So that was nice to have without much code. So this is So here we are running at 60 frames per second. That's also possible to adjust according to requirements. So the rendering of this system is made with SDL3 render API. So we are using accelerated rendering, and we try to not use any feature that is like GPU specific or like OpenGL or anything. We just render with the basic render primitives we get from SDL. So we can even run this system on Windows XP without any problem. We can completely build a static build of the whole framework plus the application, and from the test without many optimization we arrived to 7 megabytes for the fully static program. And I think we can reduce, if we squeeze the SDL more, we can even squeeze more. So then we have the RLOT, and I try to be short because I think we are tight with the time. RLOT example. This is animation is made from RLOT, that is a vector. Oh, what happened? Play. It is made. We are using RLOT library from Samsung, so we are rendering the frames from the JSON file with that library and caching in the textures. And automatically we can resize the screen and it will re-render and scale it. So that's good. Okay, so that's nice to have in the UI library in this year. And then we have this nice library. This nice widget is HTML view that we have a fairly reasonable support for CSS. We can see, well, this list, this icon, image, SVG, image rendering. We can see font size units. We can use viewport units. You can use DI and DIP units, so it's scalable with the screen resolution. Then we have zoom also. We can zoom. The rendering is quite fast. We can resize the screen and almost instant, no problem. Here is source code. We can really use more or less standard HTML, inline style, reference style, everything. Yeah, and okay, this is the HTML. There is more things. We have asset management. We have saving settings as JSON by default, but we can customize for anything. We can derive the package and customize that. We have font styling. We have quite good support for fonts, or with the DIP. Now DIP scale is 1.5, so we will see this font will be bigger. You see, this is normal, and then DIP scale where it will be 1.5 because my screen is now 1.5 automatically. And we also have a font support, loading of registering fonts from the file system or from assets. We can bundle assets in the program, a similar way of what Qt does to integrate the assets in the application, so we don't have external dependencies. And this is automatically handled by the system, where you can opt in development for file system asset loading, and in release time we can bundle everything inside the application as add a package that has the constants embedded, and so that's, and this is integrated with fonts, with the translation that are like we use the PO format. It will also be integrated, and also the images. So we support all SDL supported images plus SVG. We have also another interesting thing is we have the let's see if I can show you here, SVG example. So the SVG files. Oh, this is not. Maybe I did something wrong here. I think that I will need a fix here. Something is not loading properly. So basically we can tint the SVG icons, but now it's not working. This one, here, yeah, this one. So we can load SVG as paths from a string, or from an asset, or from a sprite in a sprite file with IDs in the SVG, and it will automatically load. We can see this image widget example. It should be, which image example? Okay, this image is no, I didn't update that image ID. So I go to here, image example. Okay, so the SVG paths can be even like this, like a string, and I just set them as where are they? Yes, here you have a load SVG paths. So I can create an image from my paths, and I say on which field, and I can say if it is tintable. So if it's tintable, then it will be white, and then the CSS will multiply the color from whichever color. In that way, we can handle the hover effects in the image without needing another image. This is very common in UIs, and so I liked. And then and then there is other part, but here I don't. There is a problem with the SVG example. Anyway, we can express loading a sprite from a file, just saying the name of the file and the comma and the ID, the ID of the sprite, and it will load just that sprite for that image. Yeah, okay. So I think I showed more or less the most important parts. Maybe I can, if anyone has questions. One thing more that I didn't show here, the transition example. I mean, we have full support for animation of styles. So any style is in, is out, opacity, animation, shadows. We have full support for drop shadows with the, of course, we don't render in GPU, we render in CPU and cache the textures because we cannot rely on GPU primitives. So yeah, so that's also nice to have in a modern UI. So I think we are not missing, I don't think we are missing anything. We can even, we have the text editor. Full text editor, select, scroll, wrap or not wrap, read only or not read only. You can copy, select everything. You can load the file from the file system. You can, yeah. So it's, I think most of what you expect is there. Then there is a trade-off we made. The scrollable areas, or that we can always, it's all CSS. Also, we can say which widget is scrollable just by a CSS, like in standard. We only support vertical scroll. It was much easier to, at least for now, to make the algorithms for the layout and everything. And modern UIs usually are mostly scrolling vertically anyway. So I just switched to that as a decision. Yeah. Well, I think that's it for now. I will try to see what kind of polish I need more, and how I will release this, if it will be which kind of license, or if it will be released at all. It will depend, but I'm happy to hear your opinions on that, and let's see.
Thank you, Aldo, for your presentation. And judging by the reactions, I think people are quite excited. We do have a couple of comments in the chat. So Wesley says, it would be great if Genoga was updated to use this graphical user interface framework as an optional render engine, or whatever the proper name is, for those cases where the user doesn't want to be reliant on a web browser to render their graphical user interface. So, picking on this comment, I would also want to point out, you have basically managed to clone the functionality of a web browser, no?
Clone, I think I have, it's imitating or using the knowledge of what is CSS, with what we know and how it works, because we have experience on that. So the ideas on there, that's already more than half of the work, I believe, I see, because I don't need to make many decisions, because already we have a settled, mature system. So the only thing was to just try to implement it. Yeah, I don't know, clone if it's the word, but yes, basically. So we can. So the HTML view came after the UI, and I was even impressed myself, because I say, look, we have already the system in place. We just need to adapt it just to see HTML. And my goal is not to support the full HTML or the full, even we don't have JavaScript, we don't have anything, we have only ADA code. So that's, I don't know why I would need JavaScript here. I mean, the goal of this system is to be more tight, more like more machine code kind of, not dynamic. So yeah, basically.
Thank you. And then Wesley says, this is really impressive. URL, please. But I suppose there is no way to get it now, as you indicated.
Not at the moment. Yeah, not yet. I'm really quite busy at the moment to try to publish it, or see how I could publish it, that everyone can benefit, but also can be, of course, protected from at the same time. I mean, because it's a big effort from my side to do all this, day and night working and stuff like that. So so I'm doing for a purpose that is both for the joy of doing it, of course, because I could use any other Qt or whatever and say, okay, I do my job and finish. But no, I want it like I want it, like I like it. But at the same time, I'm using it for a project, a real project. I don't know if I can show you it here, but because I still didn't release that. But I'm happy how it's going. I'm late more than 1 month in my timetable, so let's see. But yeah, I appreciate any ideas or comments on that, and definitely.
Well, when you finish your project, it would be nice to showcase it here, if you want.
Yes, also the project, yeah. Nice. So basically, I can become a cute competitor in or Slint. Now there is this new library Slint that is quite nice. I like, but not like I wanted. It's a Rust written in Rust, I think, and it has C++. But you know what my idea is? This QML, Slint, all this, they have this idea of expressing items, like how to explain? They are not CSS based. They are more item based. So I cannot style freely. I mean, I'm stuck into that structure. And this system is different because I can separate what is the styling from the code and the structure. So that's, yeah, basically. One thing more I did that is nice is I put a MCP server. You know what is MCP? For LLM agents, coding agents. They can interact with the application and take screenshots of it, or click on buttons on it, or see the widget tree, so they can see what is in the screen. So they can also help for the styling. We can ask something, and he will change the CSS maybe, or the opposite. So that's like, I can, if we have time, I can show this. I don't know how we are with the time.
Well, we went over the hour, so it's fine.
Okay. It's very simple. I just show and install this. So I basically can say, I was already doing a test before. I will say again. Okay, I say just to launch the material demo and take a screenshot and describe what he sees. He forgot where is the material demo now. Okay, so he knows, he will launch it. Okay, he started the demo here, and he will say now that what he sees. Okay, now he took the screenshot and saved, and then he is describing, okay, the subtitle, what is there, and then I will say click on the get started. Okay, he clicked already. Okay, so he will take a screenshot again. Okay, and I can say, show me the styling, by example, show me the CSS of the, I never tried this, but it should work. No, he's working in the, okay, let's stop. But he's able also to find the widget and say what is the CSS from there.
And while it is thinking, and there are a couple of more messages, Weston says, how many people are working on the project?
In this moment, I'm alone. I'm doing this project alone. So I do use also LLM like Cloud to help with the development. So I can go faster, let's say, like than before. That's okay. So here he extracted the CSS from the file. So he's taking shortcuts here. So anyway, but yeah, that's the idea, is to do what other companies are doing, also Figma and other companies. They're trying to integrate and help people integrate LLMs with user interfaces and help develop faster. That's okay. That's it. That's it.
Then thank you very much, Aldo. I found it incredibly interesting and very, very, very cool. It's an impressive project, and I hope to see a lot more from it.
Yeah, sure. I
Congratulations.
will definitely. I will write something in Telegram group, or when I do something more properly, or a website or something, I definitely will let you know. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.
And then this marks the end of this meetup. Again, I will, as always, I will write the minutes of the meeting for everybody to see in the forums. This video has been recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so you can send it to anybody, or you can watch it later if you couldn't. And yes, thank you very much, and I keep an eye on the next meetup announcement. So thank you very much, especially to Max, especially to Aldo for coming today and presenting their work. It has been a very, very cool meetup, in my opinion. And thank you all for coming here. And again, if you want to communicate with any of the authors, you can communicate privately via their emails or in the forums or the chat, Telegram chat, etc. Then thank you, everybody, and see you next time. Ciao.